The Ian Dempsey Breakfast Show.
Great company,
Great laughs.
and the music you love. Today FM.
It all happens here.
Now, every time this guy brings out a new book, I always say to him, "Oh, that's a fantastic idea, brilliant." And it's a bit of a tradition now. We normally have him on to have a chat about it, and then I say to myself afterwards, "Well, there must be no other ideas left in the world." And then he comes back with another one, and he's another brilliant idea going on. His name is Nevin Maguire, and he's on the phone line now, and he's got a new book out called Learn to Cook with Nevin. Morning, Nevin. How are you?
Good morning, Ian. Wow, lovely introduction. Thanks.
You've got the best telephone line in Ireland, I think. Do you know that? How do you do it? Do you know somebody?
Oh, that's a nice compliment. Thank you very much.
So you've got your new book now, Learn to Cook with Nevin, and it's not aimed at children, it's aimed at anybody who doesn't know how to cook properly.
Yeah, I suppose, the whole thing came about, Ian, during lockdown. We were doing kind of Zoom cook-alongs for kids, and we said we'd do this. But this is aimed at kids and teenagers and ones going back to college and adults who want to learn. Like, there's 80 recipes in 4 different steps, so it's really, really pared back. They're very simple recipes, and I think you end up with delicious food. And then at the back it shows you how to chop an onion, how to whip cream, how to melt chocolate, just the basics. It's like a little mini cookery school.
Because there is a kind of a presumption, when you get some cookery books or whatever, or some recipe you might get online or whatever, and it's, they tell you, oh, just chop this, and you're just kind of saying, well, I don't actually know how to do this. So now you're explaining all of this, so it's quite basic, and but then again, there's some great recipes, from eggy bread to fluffy pancakes and all kinds of stuff. And then the chopping, beating, whipping, and baking. So brilliant idea once again. And
I'll tell you, in the cookery school, it's the one asked question: is how do you chop an onion? How do you cook the perfect steak? Right. So I think we've ticked that box. Yeah. And if you get basic knife skills, for me as a chef, when I went training in Enniskillen, the first thing I did for a week was chop things. I didn't even cook any vegetables. So knife skills, sometimes chefs, we take them for granted. So I think just for people to be able to chop and have a bit of fun in the kitchen, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, very good. And I mean, to be fair to you, you were always talking about the fact that it should, the food preparation, it's a life skill, and it should be on the curriculum. And do you think they're getting any closer to that at all?
They are. I think it's getting better and better. I mean, for young kids, I think during lockdown, I think food is the one thing that's going to come out of this. More people were cooking at home, and the main event of the day, as I said to you before, I think was the meal. So I think food, people have an appreciation. They've gone back to basics, and it's great life skills. It's the best gift we can give our children. We invest in them when we're bringing them to Gaelic or whatever they're doing outside school. Why not cooking? I think that's so important.
Absolutely. And the whole idea of chopping and whipping and beating, that means you're not using processed food. You're actually using fresh ingredients all the time, which is very important as well, health-wise.
Yeah, you're right, because when you cook from scratch, what goes into it, so you're actually healthier. And there's something, I think of my mother, that's where I got my love of food. From the age of 8 or 9, I was making apple tarts, flapjacks, shortbread, making a mess in the kitchen. Some people say I still make that, do that, but that's where the bond comes, and it's just a lovely thing. And Conor and Lucia, I got the book last week, Ian, for the first time, and Lucia has made 3 of the recipes, and Conor has made 1, so I'm very proud of them.
And there's a Lucia one in there, pink porridge, which looks beautiful, very nice. And Conor's got his granola in there.
You see. They're real foodies, they're 9 and they love their food, so they do, which is great, and they're getting into cooking. A lot of guests in the restaurant said, do you think they'll be chefs? I said, I don't know, as long as they enjoy food, but I love them to be.
But obviously it runs in the family there, because your 3 brothers and your 4 sisters are all pretty good cooks as well, and this came obviously from your mother as well, yeah?
Yeah, I suppose we got the love of food, a lot of my sisters in particular, they're great, they wouldn't need a recipe, they're what I call spontaneous cooks, you can give them a couple of ingredients and they'll rustle up delicious food. So I suppose when we're growing up as a family, there's 9 in my family, we always ate well. Mum and Dad with a group of potatoes, cabbage, the basics, and she always had a dessert. We were well looked after and well fed, and I suppose that's where we got the love of food. So Mum and Dad.
Very good. Okay, so Learn to Cook with Nevin. It's actually out now, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely.
It's very good, and a brilliant present to give somebody. So it's got so many facts involved in there that it's an education for people, and it also looks amazing and and some of the recipes
Thank
are great.
you.
And listen, I just have to ask you, I was up at your fantastic restaurant there recently with my friends. We had a brilliant night and we stayed over in McNean House, and I have to ask you about the back place. There's a tree there that has CDs hanging out of it. I hope you don't mind me asking you this, right?
Yeah.
But I put it up on Instagram and it got thousands of people that loved the video. But what is that, to keep crows away or something?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the swallows, I didn't want to put my vinyl up because they're kind of too precious. So
The LCDs, we don't need them anymore.
and you see, the noise kind of distracts them. So, the outdoor area which we did, which has worked a success.
Oh, it's beautiful, yeah.
It is lovely. And I won't tell, your listeners about carrying you up to bed, later tonight. I promise you.
I don't, Nevin, I don't even remember that. It's amazing.
I know you don't.
Well, listen,
Thank
it's
you.
great. And listen, I was watching the Spanish Trails show last night as well, and I thought you asked a really Irish question.
Go on.
Go on, I thought it was great. You were talking to Stephanie, and Stephanie was showing you all the almonds as she makes, and then there was a savoury almond there.
Yeah.
And then the most Irish question of all was, would that go well with a nice glass of wine, do you think?
You know me too well, Ian. Good man.
Thanks, Nevin. Good
Thanks,
luck.
Ian. God
Cheers.
bless. Thanks a
Learn
million.
to
Have a
cook
good
with
one.
Nevin is
Bye.
out now.
The Ian Dempsey Breakfast Show.
Weekdays from 7 a.m.